the fuck?
I get it.
Good
God
afternoon,
damn it.
everyone. As usual, Lyle has no idea what the hell's going on, but he did yell random shit like someone with some sort of problem. I think it would be Tourette's in this case.
Look, you watch Critical Role as much as I do, and you know that the most entertaining person is the guy who yells nonsense right when the stream starts. That's just how it goes.
All of the things, some of the stuff. I do have a good story. KR starts with hope everyone isn't dying of heat in the Midwest. So I, big shock, wasn't feeling super well for the last 2 days, and then I decided to do my cardio and take my bike ride. And I rode over to my mom's, who went, oh, "Weren't you really messed up?" And I go, "Yeah. Why are you bike riding when it's 1,000 degrees out?" And I'm like, "Because I make bad decisions, damn it, and I stand by them."
To be fair, would it be particularly safer for you to go bike riding if it was 60 degrees? Or would it be an equal chance of death?
Nah, it gets worse, of course, when I get like heat stroke. I also have like beat problems, stuff like that are caused by dehydration.
Hmm.
My mic is super dying. God damn it.
You sound fine on Skype, at least.
Yeah. I don't understand what's going on with my connection with this because everyone hears me perfectly in my Skype connection.
Oh. Did you just disconnect our internet, Brad? Did you just disconnect our internet? Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
We're fine.
Oh, no, we're good. I saw the little
We're
wheel.
fine.
I wasn't sure. Also, I saw you touch something, so I assumed something bad happened.
I did not go to ACO because my ride was unable to go to ACO. And that made me sad. Because I wanted to go to live, to laugh, to love, to drink wine, and to play with toys.
Your boy was there. Almost won the whole thing. Your Swedish national.
It's good times.
For those of you who don't know, Brad is an honorary Swede.
This is true.
Is generally associated with Team Sweden. So
I'm
sure Brad was rooting for Jasper.
I do not go through Skype. I'm saying I use Skype to pick up Lyle's bitch ass, or anybody's bitch ass, to be honest with you, and then I go through OBS as per the thing and the stuff. Look, guys, I was told to use Skype, and I did what I was told. Yeah, Sasha did have a good run. Sasha's a good guy and a good player. Well done. You know what? I should put up stuff.
I like how the first comment I see in chat is that Necrons are dead, but Necrons came in second at the biggest event of the week.
Necrons are not dead. Necrons live. I mean, they're undead. They're already undead.
Yeah, they're not dead or alive. They're just there.
It's good times. We had some weird data for the weekend. I mean, we've got, obviously, we're going to talk about this weekend. We're going to talk about the meta in general. But we have to talk with knowing that we're going to get a new data slate with points in the next 24 to 48 hours, probably.
Hopefully.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
When you say probably, you could be held legally responsible for that, Brad. So
Legally responsible.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I don't know how the internet works, to be honest with you. So maybe it is. Let's go, Brad, indeed. I just wish I was there. Man, the list looked very favorable for some orc beatings. There's a lot of hand-to-hand out there. And at ACL.
Do you think, this is an honest question, if we just want to talk about ACO briefly before we look at the overall comprehensive data, because a lot of us watched ACO as that's where Joe was this weekend. And, Joe kind of picks what we all get to spend our time on the weekends at this point. Two lists that I found very interesting at ACO that were on camera, at least over the 2 days. The Blood Angels list, which completely gave up ball predators which most people have been running 2 just because they kind of feel like a niche mission play / actually kill stuff role, which is nice. Jasper completely gave those up to just take more guys. And he went with something I had told you about a month or 2 ago with the Vanguard vets with the Sanguinary Priest to just make them annoyingly durable
I
for
mean,
their cost.
you're never gonna have me argue with just more dudes, because put more shit on the board. I'll probably figure out a way to do something with it. Give yourself, what's that? You need an opportunity to have an opportunity? Yes,
I
indeed,
sent you
Lyle.
that picture. Put that picture up there, Brad.
Yes,
I've sent it to
Lyle.
you before.
You should have an opportunity to have an opportunity. Is it? I don't know if it's on this one.
I don't know. I've sent it to you. I have it on my desktop.
No. I mean, I have it. I just don't know if I have it in this particular layout.
Well, I know we're talking about the end of a meta, so this question is kind of loaded. But what do you think about like an army like Blood Angels or anything that maybe could do something similar? Instead of taking trash to play the early game, they just take one durable enough unit that your opponent kind of has to come forward more than they want to be able to actually get rid of it.
Yes and no. The problem is that when you're doing something like that, you're playing scissors paper rock 40k, which we're playing a lot of, by the way, which is fine because a lot of the matchups are like that. But you're really hoping your opponent doesn't have the firepower to just go, thanks for the ton of points you just put out there, delete. You know what I mean? That's a real thing.
Yeah, and the Silent King exploding that game was crazy for sure. If those of you who haven't seen the finals, the Silent King blew up and killed like half the Blood Angels army, which is not good.
That seems good.
Yeah.
Tactical nuke Silent King.
Yeah. But regardless, I was interested in the Vanguard vet side of it because like with the Sanguinary Priest, you're getting up to Strength 7, AP 2, with like 40 attacks. Or maybe 50 attacks in Blood Angel. I had to double check if it's 40 or 50, but you just get a lot, which is it's nice.
Strength,
and they
strength
have
plus 2
a 3 up, 4
fucking
up,
1
5
extra
up,
attack
crazy.
is legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they have a 4 up invuln and a 5 up field of pain with the Sanguinary Priest, which is just annoying enough to deal with. That like I had like some extra 5-man Death Company units before to play the mission early game. They fulfill that in a way that you don't necessarily have to like overextend, but you kind of bait your opponent into overextending because like you're going to kill 5 Death Company without a character pretty easily. You're not killing 11 Vanguard vets with a Sanguinary Priest easily under any circumstance. So I like that as kind of like the forcing your opponent to come do something about it. That was an interesting thing we haven't seen in a lot of lists lately.
Yeah.
Also wanted to know what you thought about that Chaos Space Marine list that was crushing people all weekend, because that list was hilarious.
It's another, I'm gonna tie these together. Because Joe goes, our space was dead in the new meta, even with only moderate point increase, or does Thunderbolt Cavalry need to be hit hard? I think Thunderbolt Cavalry feel oppressive when you don't have the tools to deal with them. And when you do, just like this Chaos Space Marine list, with a different style, you know what I mean? Because both of these, you're really trying to force your opponent into actions. And the thing is that Chaos Space Marine list was doing really, really well until it faced someone that went, I actually have enough attacks to just chuck you into a wood chipper and keep on going. I brought 2 wood chippers instead of 1 and was able to. So I think it's, for me, when I look at that list, I think of it as more of a team thing if you want to have consistent success, because and you do have to have a little bit of luck period when you're going through a big tournament like that and you have a huge amount of people. You need to have a couple favorable matchups in favorable missions that are going to let you get by it. But I think that list was really just pushing Horde, and I have nothing wrong. I mean, I'm all for mass MSU style Horde. It's just one of those lists that I think when it meets its hard counter, it just meets its hard counter. So,
who do you think is favored in that matchup versus like Green Tide, which most people consider like the best Horde match or Horde list right now?
Green Tide would win that game.
Okay, that was
in my opinion. They just have like so many attacks. I mean, they could just, when they call a wall, it's just like just a bushel of attacks. You know what I mean? And they just have to clear. So the Green Tide, with new Green Tide, a lot of the Green Tide lists I've been looking at and fixing with myself, I've been debating on taking obviously a shooting unit to start clearing out a little bit of shit. So yeah, and going with the Space Wolf thing, they again they had another good weekend. You know what I mean? But they didn't win the tournaments. They had a great win rate, but they don't seal the deal because of the fact that when Space Wolves meet, again, one of their counters on that, if you've got enough screens that you can lock them down, they can't go through buildings, you know what I mean, because of the fact that they're cav. So, mounted, sorry.
So my question for you about the Space Wolves is, I'm just ignoring Death Watch at the top. I'm not paying any attention to that. Do you think Space Wolves is actually the best list, or do you think it's just like a really strong mid-table list that's just like being propped up by mid-table bullies?
It's both. That's the thing. It's more than just a mid-table bully list, but the problem with it is when it meets its hard matchups, it's tough. You know what I mean? Depending on the mission too. You got to figure if you can just move block them, you know, depending on what your format you're playing. You play like GW3 or GW4, which what they were playing days 2 and 3 at ACO. There's really small choke points that you can put that army into. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult for them to get that value out of it. And Thunderwolf Cav still live 4 up life. They've got a 3 up 4. You know what I mean? So it's a 4 wound model. You got to figure you just consistently put damage into it. They're not bringing dudes back. It's not Necron reanimation or anything. You know what I mean? So you can chip away at that army. And again, I think it's a very good army.
I just want to point out, I'm convinced that this is the same guy every weekend who plays Champions of Russ in a 5-round GT. Like, because this is the one guy who wins one game every weekend. I think it has to be the same person.
I know the Deathwatch thing. Yeah. 1+, target is long tick. Oh, send that to me in a regular message. And text it to me. And messenger at me. Because I'm going tomorrow to do this now. So, yeah, I mean, I'm currently using my 3rd pair of Delta headphones from the plane. Times are tough. It's a Still Frosty thing, yeah. Still Frosty and I are going to be rocking tomorrow. And we might actually rock Thursday. There might be a triple Still Frosty Brad stream. Because we have to talk about the new stuff. We've got to talk about modeling stuff. And I've heard through the grapevine, actually he just said this himself, that Sean Dice with Rice was at the same tournament as Brandon, and supposedly Brandon actually put some crude on the board, even though he's been saying for years now he's got all the crew.
Brandon's an actual madman, though, that he only put, like, he didn't play any Tau. It was like all crew, and I think he said a couple Vespin. So he's like an actual mad lad. We were cowards, Brad. We put two Storm Surges out there and then filled the rest in with crew.
Sometimes you got to do the crew. You got to make only crew party happen, and that's a big thing. So, Stormlance. I saw a couple people playing Gladius Storm Spaces, by the way. Maximum crew. You know what? Now I want to hear about this. If you're somewhere where you can get on this call, get on this call. Add Brandon to this.
Yeah, my favorite part is just when you get annoyed that you have to resize the screen.
I'll figure it out. I want to hear about Crute now. He had me at I brought a lot of Crute. We've been playing a lot of the new missions and the new secondaries. I do want to talk about that for just a second on this with the meta. Because I don't think factions get hurt by the new stuff. I think most people get better as long as you're building your army to be able to score. The new missions require you to do a lot of actions. The new secondaries are significantly easier to score. There's also no cap on certain things for tactical. Hello, Lyle and Brad. Give us a go blue. $2 in probability coming in. But it's a big deal in that because when you're making the armies, like Lyle, you were there for half of them. You know what I mean? I sound like God damn it! What is happening with my mic? I don't understand what's going on. Talk about.
I'm confused because you sound perfectly fine to me.
No, I don't know what's happening here. I just blew on it like a freaking Nintendo game. I don't understand why and how I have any issues. I have the same stupid filters on that I've always had. This is upsetting me so much. I don't understand why. I don't know why, to be honest with you. I don't know how to fix this, to be perfectly honest, everyone. I apologize for it, but I sound perfect on Skype.
If anyone in the northern Ohio area who knows about computers is willing to come fix Brad's setup for him, he will buy you a turkey sandwich. Not a ham sandwich, a turkey
crazy
sandwich.
time. No, I really don't know what's going on because well, the mic is actually a Yeti mic. The headphones are the terrible problem. Headphones are off. So
maybe you fixed it. People are saying you're fine now.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I've only recently had that problem, and it seems really good when everybody else is talking to me, so it's strange. With that said, hence and thus forth, the
perchance.
So, with that being said, with the stuff and the things, and the other things with the stuff, no, your army has to be able to do more actions than I think it did before. So I think that you're going to see
you're going to see way more MSU just because you're going to have to.
I mean, it's a big deal on that because, I mean, also it's going to be really hard to get differential because secret missions are actually legit, right? You know, dropping a free 20 points on your opponent at the end of the game, especially if you're playing a late game type army, an army that's really looking to pick up your opponent, but pull back while it's doing it. Shooting army, Tau, for instance, very good at the end game there, especially playing against those aggressive armies like your Wolf Jail. I think Wolf Jail, to be honest with you, with the new secret missions, with the new missions, I already thought they're very playable against. They feel unplayable with certain armies. You know, if you're only playing an elite army, if you don't have the trash to deal with them, yes, it's going to feel tough. But with the new missions, or secondary specifically, and secret missions, I think Space Wolves are going to have a harder time because they take their lead early. You know what I mean? They build an early lead.
I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree. We played that specific matchup. We played Tal versus Wolf Jail on a new mission with new deployment, and I think we both both came to the conclusion that, like, if Wolf Jail goes second and you've designed your list to fight it, you can fight it on the really aggressive deployment zone. My concern is I don't know if people continue to build lists the way they've been building lists. I am uncertain how many lists will translate in these really niche scenarios of the two offset deployment zones against hyper aggressive armies, and then the hyper aggressive army goes first. I almost feel like people are going to have to start building in a failsafe for there's these really specific scenarios where I need way more screens than my list actually needs because I can't win these games otherwise.
I mean, sweeping engagement is a trash fire of a deployment for a lot of armies. 8 inches deep on 30 inches of the board, basically with a Dawn of War deployment.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you're only 16 inches apart at that midpoint. You have to put something to block that.
Yeah,
I
think most armies can take tools that will allow them to have play there, but I don't think they are right now. And I don't know. I wonder how long it's going to take people to realize that there's a fundamental toolbox that needs to be added to lists that don't currently have it.
I agree. And when you're looking at just the data on this, tournament wins, none. You know what I mean? Really good percentage. They keep putting up a really good percentage. I think that I'm worried that Space Wolves are going to get touched really hard, and the new missions, new secondaries are going to hurt. I'm on t-shirt and afraid. I'm also wearing my Michael Scott t-shirt. So the
how long is that a quick question? How quickly do you think we're going to see the first person win a GT who went with the old 8th or 9th edition style 100% fixed battle plan of secret mission, primary denial, and fixed secondaries? Because we've all said that's a combo that's coming.
Well, fixed is easier now to take. However, the missions themselves, It depends what missions you run, to be honest with you. If you're running Terraform and stuff like that, back to back to back, if you have to do actions every turn and you take, action secondaries, it's going to be a pain in the ass, you know what I mean? To continue to take a fixed battle plan on them.
Who do you
But
think would be best at doing it?
anybody fast. I mean, Dark Eldar comes to mind immediately. Just being able to just say, I don't care. Demons, especially if they get some point decreases, could be just devastating doing that because they can just put shit everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's very, very difficult to stop that.
I'm wondering about. I think I sent you a list about it, but like a Tau list that's like not trying to like hold primary, but just is going to keep dumping 20 or 30 OC onto primaries or onto objectives to deny it, and then trying to get a late game secondary or a secret mission with like Shadow Sun or something, and just completely going for all the fixed stuff and just making sure the other person doesn't score any primary on turns like 3 and 4.
But yeah, 100% on that. Everybody's got good questions in the chat on that too, because transports, yes, missions are going to be a big deal on that because again, actions. GK is going to be good. Basically, anybody that cannot be Downy, it's very difficult, especially if you're going. We have to do something about turn 2, by the way. Turn 2 is like bananas.
You mean going second?
Going second. Sorry, not turn 2. Going at the bottom of the turn. Holy God, that's just auto points. And if you're including secret missions, it's just free real estate. You know what I mean? It's just crazy amounts of points you're putting up. So it's just so ridiculous. I mean,
is the mission where you can score 25 at the end of the game going second still a thing?
Yeah, you've got multiples of those. You know what I mean? You've still got huge things. I mean, it's just, I mean, Scorched Earth got even bigger because now it gives you more points for burning stuff. So you can just you can basically burn everything and get 25 points. That's a huge deal. Just going second is just so crazy strong that it's really difficult for me. I think that you should probably just go ahead and have them score at the top the whole way through. Exactly. A casual 40 primary on turn 5 it's pretty bananas on that to just rock and roll that. So, and they've changed how you score now because you can keep scoring after your secret. You know what I mean? So you can just have a 0 and then just smash out turns 4 and 5. 100%. If you have something aggressive, I can't talk apparently. If you are playing an army that doesn't have a great way to deal with super early aggression, you're playing on World Eaters, you're playing orcs on, search and destroy, which is board corners, anything where you're super close, yes, sometimes going first, they can just lock you down and put you in the corner. But pretty much anything else, it's so bananas. 25 points bottom of 5. Exactly, Brandon. I mean, it's just, turn 2 is just so nuts. I mean, I can't tell you how much I always want to go second. Just so I can put up those big points at the end of the game. It also makes your opponent do stuff. If Lionel and I are playing each other right now, and I go first, that means I have to put up basically a points cushion, which means that I have to start playing aggressively. I have to start putting up points. I have to start making more aggressive moves than I want to, because I know he's got the bottom of the turn, and he also knows that, so he doesn't have to do anything. If we want to play a super slow game, where both of us are scoring 5s on primary for a while, cool. He's going to put a giant number on the board in turn 5. So it's so strong right now. It's just crazy.
I know RTTs don't count, but I can't count the number of times in the last few months where I took Tal to an RTT and I went second, and the other person's like, well, I'm just going to pass the turn because I don't want you to shoot me on your first turn. And I was like, okay, I'm still not going to move.
Well, I mean,
I'm going second. I'm not going anywhere.
They at least fixed Purge the Foe on turn 1 so you can't get killed more. Because holy God, it was so nuts to get it 8-0. Going second, you knew exactly what they were doing. You'd kill something, they kill nothing. You get an 8-0 to start the game. At the end of the game, you're just going to slam down 16. You know what I mean? Y'all play 40K around here? Y'all ready for this?
Brad does not play 40K. Brad watches other people play 40K.
True.
Some kind of weird sexual fetish.
I nitpick it the whole time. Yes, we could definitely go down to the bottom. I was just kind of meandering around here. Uh, if Thousand Suns get hit at all, I think that their win rate drops through the floor. Uh, so Templars, dude, Templars have been just cool for forever. They're just gonna keep grinding and being okay. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. Sisters,
Being okay. People up there with 74% win percentage, Brad. That's more than okay.
yeah. Sisters are gonna be our new masters. I think Grey Knights are gonna skyrocket. To be perfectly honest, to be fair, just because of the fact that I think they're going to be able to play the new missions and the new secondaries so well. Blood Angels are going to keep doing what they're doing. It's a really good army. Apparently, it also had a 100% win ratio with Gladius. With one guy, 5 wins, maybe.
I'm interested to see. I think we're at the point where Blood Angels are like pseudo figured out. Other than if you have to change what they're doing to fight sisters. But there's a lot of rumors on a variety of Space Marines coming out at the end of the summer with like refreshes, and I know most Blood Angels players, when you talk to them, are terrified they're gonna give Death Company the Wolfen treatment. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens by the end of the year.
We'll see on that, and it's a big deal in this because I think Blood Angels are going to play well into the new missions. If you bring the more guys, the 3 assaults, same thing you've been seeing in a lot of the new Space Wolf on that.
The only thing I'm worried about is how do Blood Angels play into Sisters, because Blood Angels right now work on just like being able to trade better with like all the 5-man units. They actually make do stuff, but they're not going to be able to outtrade Sisters. So I'm just curious how that goes.
Orcs are being orcs. We'll see how they get touched in points. That'll make just a huge difference. People trying to play my Warhorde, man, making me sad. Get away from that. It's mine.
All right, Brad, when are you going to get Cult of Speed to work?
It's too many vehicles, man. It's not my jam. What I wanted to be cool was the Big Hunt, but their mechanic is dumb. So that's why I'm not running, because I want to run snake bites. Again, nothing makes me happier than having orcs say, "You damn orc, you new orcs, young orcs, and your newfangled technology." Just like something about that makes me super happy. Top player, if my buddy plays Sisters, how can I kick his ass? Volume of Fire. Volume of Fire, make them come out. They are so fast.
Here's the shorter answer that you can do without having to change your list dramatically. Anything that's allowed to take an SMS, put it on it, and that will help.
True story. T3 bodies with 1 wound. And also,
Blood Angels touch Sisters, they'll kill them, but you want to make them come do stuff. That's the problem.
Also, BA Sisters sounds like a really fun game. Also, Krons. Phalanx has actually been doing work for very few, but it has been getting legit ratings. So, Hypercrypt still Hypercrypt. I mean, Krons are fine. I think they're going to do...
I played, in our testing game this weekend, I played Awakened Dynasty, and I was shocked at how good it was. Just basic vanilla Necrons with characters.
Who's beating Bully Boys to the top? Literally, bring more trash in your army. It's people just realizing how to play against Bully Boys is going to drop Bully Boys' win rate down. But also the fact of, the fact that they're probably going to get touched in, again, 24 to 48 hours. So we'll see on that one. But I think that's more of a how-to. They're annoying to kill, but if you just have trash, touching trucks and not letting them out, pretty huge deal. Plus with the new having to do a ton of actions and stuff, it's a thing.
I know we don't have points yet, but on paper, Sisters seem really annoying for orcs to deal with. Just with how fast they can get there and surround them and touch everything.
100%. I mean, Sisters look very annoying for everybody. They move faster than everybody in the game. So when you're running by a freaking Eldar going, what are you guys doing so slow for? I am really, really, really interested to see how Knights play after with the new missions and everything else. Because I think they get significantly better.
I know Crawley is very excited about potentially playing Chaos Knights. Depending on, how points work out and such.
Yeah. I mean, Angels being Angels. You know what? I'm bailing on them until we see points. CSM is fine. Everybody's trying.
Chaos Cult destroyed everyone this week,
Yeah,
Brad.
the 2 players. Yes, that's a very big sample. Such a huge sample to work on. I think they're just trying to find their exact identity. I think that a lot of these lists are amazing. You saw Renegade Raiders won a big tournament, won a huge tournament. They're really, really good. I mean, it's a really good to get army. It has, the problem is they've got so much good stuff. They have to figure out exactly how to make that good stuff go into the best possible army. And you're probably going to see, I mean, you see this right now. People are running every single one of the detachments. You know what I mean? So everybody's trying to find exactly what they want to do. Everybody's trying to find their secret sauce. I think this army's going to be fine. I think we haven't even touched on the best versions of Chaos. And I think there's going to be multiples. I think that book's very deep. So, I mean, you just saw it with Cole when he just brought that Horde army. You know what I mean? That's another army you can bring. It's a big deal on that. So,
I know talking about the Tau Codex, the Chaos Space Marine Codex, and the Sisters Codex are not they're not on the same level. I get that. But I'm really happy with what they've managed to do with the detachments in these books lately. I know GSC was kind of a miss. I think I don't really follow GSC, but I've heard it doesn't sound great. But in general, like I'm really enjoying the flavor and the flavor between the detachments so they don't all feel ubiquitous. I know every detachment is not always 100% like the flavor of what it's trying to get to, but I really do feel like they've gotten really good at giving a variety of ways to play each army. And even when those armies aren't the best, most competitive, they still feel fun to play and feel unique, which I appreciate.
100%. I don't really know how I'm supposed to respond to just yelling out my name, but yes. You can just join in the thing. We're immediately going to coach stuff. So I might call you after that.
I don't think he's in this call. You'll have to add him.
No, I'm saying he needs to call me.
Oh, sorry.
So, Chaos Knights and World Eaters, both, I want to see when they do the new stuff. You know what I mean? GSC has been we're going to see what people, it's really the GSC specialists, though. They always seem to pull stuff out of there. It's still a wacky army, 100%. Eldari, staying around, doing things. Battle Host is still legit. Tau's going to be Tau. Tau's going to be Tau.
Wait a minute. Did Eldar win 4 GTs this weekend?
No.
What is that 4 for? What number is that?
X and ones.
Is that 4 and O players? Oh, okay. I was like, what the?
No, the last category is.
Okay.
I think Tau. We'll see if they get any points or anything. I think Tau's. And I said this the other day. I think the problem with Tau is very fair. They balanced him perfect. The problem is getting everybody else balanced around Tau. Tau's like, hey, we're too fair and balanced. We need to be more OP. So
I think Tower like 150 points away from being pretty busted.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. The problem is
they're
that
fair enough that like if you give them a little bit more, they're not going to feel super fair.
Correct, and that's what I think. I think they already did a good job with them. Death Guard are a weird army because they just mop up melee armies, and then they have some serious problems with some of the other shooting armies or people that can just really wrap them. To be honest with you. So, but that army is just strong. It has some really strong matchups. It is hit and miss. I mean, it's super. It's the stuff that it's good at. It ruins it. Woo. So, League of Votann. I really just want to see League of Votann with that infiltrator unit. I really think that changes everything. The fact that you can push out and make screens for your own stuff to scout up, is a big deal. People right now are just putting stuff directly in front of you because you have no forward deployers. If you can stop that from happening, give yourself a lot more options. Drakari just takes a lot of skill, to be honest with you. Excuse me. I think that Drakari has the tools to win against everything. The problem is you make a couple bad moves and the army's made of tissue paper. So
Drakari right now plays like the way I thought Eldar always should have played.
100%.
Like, you can kill whatever you want to kill, but like you got to do it in a way that you don't immediately die.
And the top players are doing really well with it. You know what I mean? It's just if you make some movement errors, the floor falls out. Let's talk about AdMac. We'll talk about AdMac, but GW did say they're reworking the detachments, and I'm really hoping for it, to be honest with you. Right now, I think that the Horde is by far the best option. That's just my opinion. So, but I do work with AdMac every single week. This week maybe twice. And I think it's got legitimate play. As does any army that has tricks and MSU and basically Horde of, we saw it with that CSM. You know what I mean? AdMech can do that even better. Vanguard are still just disgusting, making you OC -1. It's a big deal. Crew talks for money. IG, I don't understand why IG wins at such a lower rate in the US than everywhere else. It makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, the points right now really skew IG lists into doing non-indirect shooting, just point wise, and that's better on UKTC and WTC terrain, right?
I love that you're
Like actual
currently
tanks and
being
such.
disintegrated right now, according to this guy.
Oh, why did you disintegrate me?
I didn't disintegrate you. Skype disintegrated you.
I'm just over here being a good helper, and you melted me.
Custodes. 40%. Yikes. I think they're better than that. They do more damage, but man, you cannot put these boys in the open. It does feel really bad when your really expensive model gets smoked by nothing.
Let's see.
It's a big deal. So, and you just try to beam back down.
I'm just turning it off and back on again, like any good technology expert.
I forgot that AdMac had multiple attachments. Holy fuck, I hope the B Codex team don't get a hold of my armies. I mean, think about the fact that Custodes used to be one of the top played armies in the game. 18 players for the weekend, you know what I mean? Just a very slow or very low number on that. And we've got Tyranids.
You're literally actively stopping me from playing Custodes. Like, I'm over here trying to paint Custodes, and Brad's like, I'll stab you in the neck with a rusty spoon.
Yeah, because you get super sad when you don't do well with something. And you're like,
Sure.
I want to play Custodes.
I am a little baby.
You're like, I can't believe I'm not crushing people with these. And you just get smoked off the table with your 8 models.
So I'm real confused about Tyranids here at the bottom. And I understand that the data has indicated they're not doing great for a hot minute. And I thought they were going to be one of these lists or these armies that, like, the specialists or the really, really, really good players would still be winning events left and right with them. And that just doesn't appear to be the case.
But they keep winning events. They won another event this weekend. So at the top, people are still winning bigger events.
Is that Marshall Peterson again, or whoever it was?
You've had
who was it that was playing the?
We've had Sam Pope win an event. We've had
Sam Pope.
Lennon's run an event. You know what I mean? Multiple. It's just they've won multiple things, and Gargoyles are still OP. I mean, Horde just works. You know what I mean? No matter what, if you have a Horde army, you are going to accidentally beat a lot of armies because a ton of armies don't have the tools to deal with Horde. They don't have the guns. They don't have the melee attacks. They can just get there and score.
So what do they need in this new meta as we transition into the Pariah Nexus meta? What do Tyranids need to not do this? Do they just need access to tank shock? Do they just need to be able to take more stuff in every list, even the non-horde list? Like, is it just a points issue? Is it a rules issue? What do you think is the issue?
Well, I think that Monsters period should have tank shock. I always thought that. But that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Carnifex is literally used to have an attack that was them throwing tanks at other people. So that's a thing. The thing with NIDS is they need a little bit more output, but the bigger thing is that people are trying to make things that used to work and they just don't. You know what I mean? I actually think NIDS are going to be even better with the new missions and the new secondaries. I think it's a really strong army the way it is. You just need it probably needs a little basically a sprinkling of damage, and yes, mid monsters need a higher strength. I think they just need their damage upped a little bit, to be honest with you, especially for the big boys. The big boys need
Do you
their
think they
damage.
could just do like a Grey Knights fix and just like tweak all the guns or the melee weapons a
Yes.
little bit, and that would solve it?
Yep.
Right.
They've already got the tools to win, which is proved that because they keep winning, and they're not just winning little events, they're winning like 8-game, giant events when they win. They have the tools to win, to have just a flat higher win percentage. If their melee strength was a little bit higher, their AP was a little bit better, you know what I mean? If they just basically did exactly what the Grey Knights thing, where they just up their damage output a little bit, I think that you would see that hit. Oh my God, what a dick. Thomas
You're not
Logman
allowed to
coming
say
in,
that
$1.99
about our
with
patrons.
Go Blues, screw LSU.
That's a paying customer. You can't talk about them that way, Brad.
You know what? My hat started to burn my head just a little bit saying
I don't know why. You've already renounced OSU on stream.
yeah. that manifesto that I was getting. Like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a ton. Only 41 minutes in now. What?
To be fair, they could also hate and subscribe. I think that would affect our metrics the exact same way.
I don't know. I mean, please don't. It'll hurt my feelings, but I'm a delicate flower.
Yeah.
Then you take that back. But so what I want to talk about the new stuff. So we've got new missions, we've got new missions, new secondaries, we've got 2 new deployments. I think that Tipping Point is probably way less impactful than the changes to sweeping engagement. To be fair. So, but one of the biggest things is obviously we're going to get Sisters and GSC coming into the mix. You've got a full detachment rework for AdMech that they said they're coming out with, and then we of course have new points. So it's a big deal on to see what we're going on. Your armies are going to have to be able to do way more actions than most, and I think that's a big thing because you got to remember they effectively made Sites of Power 3 different missions now. They all kind of work the same, where you have to empower an objective to give it extra, and that's just a big deal on that, man. You know what I mean? Especially if you're trying to do a fixed secondary, if you're doing teleport homers, which is now deploy locust or something. I can't remember the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. But if you're doing a teleport homers and you're doing a cleanse or you're doing a recon and stuff like that, you gotta think that that's 4 actions in one turn. You know what I mean? Which is fine in the beginning of the game, but can you do that for 5 turns? You know what I mean? That's a big deal. It turns out listening to Brad does not help on concentrate or writing a boring paper. Well, I'm glad that I was more interesting than the boring paper. I really set the bar low for that one. I'm also slightly won against paint drying and having a tattoo on your butt.
Brad is known for his ASMR videos.
True story. KR, I've been saying that forever, man. I really, really agree that GW needs to do small changes probably more often. But it's hard to balance. You got to figure we have 27 factions with multiple detachments in it. It's very difficult to balance stuff, but it's also, once you start hitting things, especially if you start killing the natural enemies of certain armies, you know what I mean? It really, really fucks the balance. It's better to just slowly touch things. And to be honest, I'll just go with it. To be fair, fixing the bottom is wildly more important than nerfing the top. There's very few times when the top had to be immediately crushed. There has been times, cough, cough, Eldar, Wraith Knights, and Towering. But like other times, most of the time, the people, no one gives a shit. You know, if you're playing a bottom 5 army and they nerf the top, it doesn't do shit for you. You know what I mean? So that's why I really want them to continue. And they have been doing better at this. We got to think they raised up Death Guard, they raised up Votan, they raised up Dark Eldar, you know, from ashes basically. And it's a big deal that they continue to do this.
So what do you think are as we move into the new meta, we got, last 15 minutes of video. What do you think are your 3 biggest things you want to see from our new Pariah Nexus season? Points, missions, meta-wise, matchups, armies, whatever. What are like your
as far
big
as
3
what? Like, I mean, we've seen a bunch of the stuff, so I don't get
as far as how things shake out or what we see in the data slate or points on this week.
I think that I want to see like things I want to happen or things that
not your predictions. What do you just want personally?
I want to continue to play special missions that I don't care about. So if we continue to play Fog of War and the special mission where I can dump 2 cards, I'd be perfectly fine with that. You know, as we've been playing Chilling Raid and Hidden Supplies for 95% of all special missions. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I love the fact that they fixed or just basically clarified who can do actions and stuff like that. I'd like to see the bottom raised up. I'd like to see more Marine shit be valid. Right now you've got Wolves and Blood Angels, and then you've got 4 or 5 units total that Marine players use in shooting armies. They have 1 million data sheets, you know what I mean? Fix some of them as far as pointing them out.
You know what we need to here are my big 3 things I want to see this week, all right? 1, massive Sisters points drops across the board. Points drops everywhere.
Just like
I'm building a Sisters army. I want to be able to play more.
Sure, Seraphim should be 5 points apiece. Zeph probably 3 points apiece. I mean, they don't have a gun.
Here's my actual things though, for real. I want to see, especially in the Sisters meta, I want to see, and you're gonna hate me when I say this, but the Nerf gun guys, I want them back. I want them to be playable again at a points level that makes sense.
Who the hell's the Nerf gun guys?
The Space Marine Nerf gun boys that everyone hated when you were playing 30 of them.
Oh, the T-shirt dudes, Desolators.
Yeah, Desolator. I couldn't remember their name.
Yeah, they cost more than Terminators right now.
Yeah, and like I think that would be a great tool if Sisters is a thing. Like, I'm not saying we need to spam them again. I'm not saying put them back to 10 point or 10 model units, but like let's make them playable again. They were put in a corner, understandably so. Understand why it happened, but I still think they have a place that should exist.
Yeah, they have a place. They have a place where all indirect deserves to go. In the closet.
From a Blood Angel standpoint, I want, this is going to sound aggressive, I want to see Sanguinary Guard drop like 5 points a bottle. Like, if you're not going to change the rules, stop making them cost like 100 points more than Death Company, because it's stupid. They don't do anything.
They also look pretty. I do like seeing them.
They look pretty, and everyone loves playing Sanguinary Guard, but like, make them playable. Come on. And then what was the other? Oh, and this is a shout out to Brandon. Make the chaplain on a bike do something, because I was looking at him. I was looking at him the other day, and I was like, someone was saying like, oh, like Blood Angels with Outriders are like a thing, and I was and a bike chaplain. I was like, okay, I don't know what any of those units do. I have to go look. And I see that the bike chaplain gives him +1 to wound. That's cool. That's what all chaplains do. And then do you know what the bike chaplain's other rule is, Brad?
He's got a bike.
He gives the unit he's attached to dev wounds in the shooting phase.
Oh yeah.
The unit of Outriders gets dev wounds on their bolters. And like the 1 multi-melta on the Outrider.
You can't stop that, bro.
Make him do something.
He does.
Make him have a rule that matters.
The guy's the best. Oh my god, that's terrible. I mean, Hive Tyrant shouldn't cost 235 also.
No.
It was, yeah, exactly. All of 9. Chaplain on a bike was good. You got to pay for the sins of your fathers, man. It's a big deal. Forge World reboot
also,
would be great.
Bring back Tetras. Bring
No
back
one,
Tetris.
no
Don't
one's
change
letting
cow
you.
points. Just bring
No,
back
no
Tetris.
one's giving you Tetris back. Tetris are so ridiculous. I don't know what we're gonna get in Forge World anymore because I think they took Finecast, pretty much just loaded the catapult with it and just launched it in space. So I don't know what we're gonna get. Is Forge World gonna go away, or is just Finecast? What? By the way, what's the difference between Finecast and Forge World? Is that the same thing? Am I?
Forge World's pure resin. Finecast is like a resin alternate.
Are they?
Is the best I understand it. I think Forge World. I think resin is worse than Finecast. Or resin, it comes out of the mold worse, but Finecast comes out of the mold better, but is way more breakable and brittle and not stable. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yes, is that? I just don't know where each one comes from. So
Finecast
grab
comes
guns
from
were awesome.
the Finecast orchids in the deepest parts of the Grecian volcanoes, whereas Forge World comes from the actual Martian Forge World on planet Mars.
All of the things, some of the stuff. Forge World resin is specific molds. I can see that. I mean, I don't put models together. I didn't get to unleash my damn new Mega Knobs. Also, I'm pissed about that. Oh shit! Is the Lansing tournament going to be using all the new stuff?
Yeah.
Well, that means I might have to change my list. Oh man, that's terrible. I got to pull them
But
all.
you have until Monday to submit your list for Lansing.
I mean, probably more. I'm not even in the tournament yet. I have to choke somebody out. I told
You're
D
just going to take my spot. We've talked about this multiple times. You just don't want it to be easy. You want this to be difficult.
I'm just gonna show up. I said I'm gonna show up and just start moving models for other people while I drink wine if I don't get a ticket.
Every time someone tries to give Brad an easy solution to a problem he's unhappy about, he's like, "No, I want a
40K lore
difficult
cats.
solution."
Actually, this is a good. I'm gonna shamelessly promote myself here. Just recorded on Sunday before my brain decided to melt. Just recorded an IG episode for Lorecast and the 40K Lore Cats. By the way, John gets so pissed that I keep saying that. John's going to be on with me on Thursday night, and we're going to be talking about what has the biggest discrepancy in lore versus on the table. What units? And I'm looking forward to that because I think we can get some rocking and rolling discourse going with that. Yeah, we're doing Space Marines. It'll be primarily Space Marines. I didn't put up his full Space Marines because I know that I have a hard time staying on topic.
Is the answer not specifically Fulgrim because he exists in lore but not on the table?
Say again?
The answer is not just Fulgrim because he does exist in the books, but he doesn't exist on the table?
There is no comparison. There's no rules for it. So you have to put people that have rules. I just think
his ability to exist is a rule.
He doesn't exist. Ruby exists. He does not exist.
No one's ever seen him and survived.
He's in the warp, yo. I mean, but there's a lot of things that are just bonkers now. We're going to talk about that. Lower cats. I have an objective being made for that, too. We haven't decided whether it's the full cat and power armor or the full cat and power armor and my face.
Can my cat be the official lore cat of the stream? Can we get if I supply you with cute pictures, will you put her on an objective marker?
Only if the pictures have your cat in power armor.
I like dressing my cat up in costumes. We can make this happen.
This is so weirdly eye-opening. Tank Shock has to include monsters. I don't understand that. You know what I need in the core rulebook? The ability to just move the fuck over infantry. Why is a Land Raider give a shit if three idiots are standing in front of him?
Because death or glory, Brad.
Yes, bring back death or glory.
Death or glory.
It makes no sense, man.
Don't call it a comeback.
I've been here for years. It's such a huge deal with how am I being blocked by three guardsmen? Fly needs to I've given up on fly KR. Pedestrians have the right of way. That was good. Whew. But yeah, the fact that you can just get in front of giant tanks is, you know what they all should do? The core rules should take the aircraft rule, shoot it, set it on fire, drop the people's elbow on it, put it in a blender, set it back on fire, and put it in a capsule that goes into the sun. That's how I feel about aircraft. Just throwing that out there in case anybody's ever wondered on my thoughts about aircraft. Big deal.
You say you want things to be able to move over models, but then like the second you lose the ability to win a game by move blocking, you're gonna be furious.
Yeah, I would just move block him with the ability to do that. Be like, you can move over me, but he's still gonna stay in your way. Boom! Even more complex move blocking coming in. Bam! Geometry for the win. Click, click, boom. Bring more trash. That's my answer to everything. Bring more trash.
Well, on Tuesday or Wednesday, or Thursday, whenever you talk to Brandon, you can talk about his all trash, no units list.
No units?
Yeah, it's all trash. No units to do anything, just all trash.
I mean, there's so many units to do stuff.
They're just, you can't be both, Brad. Things can't be two things. That's crazy.
They can be everything.
Things can't be two things.
When do war leaders get their trash? They don't deserve trash. I mean, Angron's currently what, 7,700 and 0 against all trash and 0 and like 1,000 against all boss fights. No one's in charge of ads more than Angron's in charge of ads.
I like Steve's comments. If Brandon plays a unit, that means he thinks it's trash.
The game is supposed to be simplified. We don't need a skill gap for boot blocking. Yes, we do. We need so much. All of the things, some of the stuff. Join me tomorrow talking about the Frosties. Join me on Thursday talking about lore on 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then join me again on Thursday. I have no idea what time because it really depends on
tomorrow,
or tomorrow,
or Friday, or Saturday. Who fucking knows?
So
we'll figure it out.
Whenever
Brad
it comes
might be
out.
streaming live from Snig's RTT on Saturday, talking about his impressions. You never know.
So it's all of the things. We are planning on having a Hucklebuck at Alan's. It's going to be amazing. And Alan also said if I come to his house that I immediately have to move things in his weight room. He's like, welcome to my house. Now move that heavy object over there. So, good times. I said, how dare you enlist me to lift heavy weights as opposed to your pregnant wife? It seems ridiculous. Isn't that what...
Alan is younger, healthier, and probably in better shape than you at this point. Why are you lifting things up?
He just wants me to help him.
Oh, I thought he was just going to make you do it.
I mean, there is a chance that I just start moving things around and Alan talks to me and like leads me around, like manipulating me into doing things I don't want to. So that has happened before. So
Puppet master.
All of the things, some of us. If Alan kills Brad, it will take me at least a week to forget him. Thanks, bro. I'm glad that I'm there. At least a week. With that being said, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate everyone. And join some more this week. We're going to have a lot of shit to talk about. And as always...
Stay milky, my friends.
Man, it took too long to say that one.